The first time I noticed her, she was standing in the shared driveway at dusk, holding a mug in both hands as if it were the only thing keeping her grounded. The soft orange light of the setting sun traced the outline of her face, catching in the loose strands of her dark hair. She looked calm, but not in a peaceful way, more like someone who had learned how to carry storms quietly. "You must be the new neighbor," she said, her voice warm but measured. I nodded, shifting the weight of the box in my arms. "Just moved in this morning." "I'm Elena," she replied. "If you need anything, I'm right next door." It sounded like the kind of thing people said without meaning it. But there was something in her eyes that suggested otherwise, something observant, careful, as if she had already begun piecing together who I was before I even spoke. "I'm Daniel," I said. That night, after the boxes were stacked in the silence of the house, began to settle into something heavy. I found myself thinking about her, not in any romantic sense, not yet. Just curiosity. She had the kind of presence that lingered. It wasn't until a week later that I learned what she did. We were standing outside again, this time in the morning. She was tending to a small garden by the fence, her hands moving with quiet precision. "You're a doctor?" I asked, noticing the hospital badge clipped to her bag. She hesitated for a fraction of a second before nodding. "Fertility specialist." I wasn't sure what to say after that. It felt too personal a field to casually comment on. But she didn't seem uncomfortable. If anything, she studied my reaction more than my words. "That must be intense," I finally said. "It is," she replied simply. "You see a lot of hope. And a lot of loss." Something in the way she said it made me wonder which one stayed with her longer. Over the next few weeks, we fell into an easy rhythm. Casual conversations turned into shared dinners. Shared dinners turned into long evenings on the porch, talking about everything and nothing. She was intelligent, sharp, but there was a softness beneath it that only revealed itself in quiet moments. And slowly, without me noticing exactly when it happened, she became the person I looked forward to seeing most. It had been 2 years since my wife Sarah passed away. Even thinking her name still felt like pressing on a bruise that hadn't fully healed. We had wanted children, tried for years, doctors, treatments, hope, disappointment, and then just when we were about to try again, cancer came into our lives like a storm that refused to pass. I never told Elena all of it at once, just fragments, pieces of a story I wasn't ready to relive in full, but she listened in a way that made silence feel safe. One evening, as the air turned colder and the sky deepened into shades of blue, she asked a question that caught me off guard. "Do you still want children?" I stared at my hands for a long moment before answering. "I don't know anymore." "That's not the same as no." "No," I admitted. "It's not." She nodded slowly as if filing the answer away. "I spend my days helping people become parents," she said. "Sometimes I forget to ask what it really means to them." "And what does it mean to you?" I asked. For the first time since I'd known her, she looked unsure. "I used to think it was everything," she said quietly. "Now I think it's complicated." There was something unspoken in that moment, something neither of us had the courage to fully explore. A few days later, she knocked on my door. I remember the way she stood there, hands tucked into the pockets of her coat, her expression carefully neutral. "Can I come in?" she asked. Of course. We sat in the living room, the silence between us heavier than usual. "I've been thinking about our conversation," she began. "About children?" She nodded. "And?" She took a deep breath as if steadying herself. "There are options," she said. "Medical options, treatments. I could help you if you wanted." I felt a flicker of something I hadn't allowed myself to feel in a long time. Hope. It scared me more than anything else. "I don't know if I'm ready for that," I said. "I understand," she replied quickly. "This isn't about rushing you. It's just something to consider." She paused, then added, "There are also other approaches." "What do you mean?" Her eyes met mine, steady but searching. "Sometimes," she said carefully, "the most natural method works best." I frowned slightly, not fully understanding. She hesitated just long enough for the weight of her words to begin settling in. "I mean, conceiving without clinical intervention." The room seemed to grow quieter. "With someone?" I asked. She didn't look away. "Yes." The implication hung between us, unspoken but undeniable. "You're suggesting—" My voice trailed off. "I'm suggesting we could help each other," she said softly. My heart started to race, not out of excitement but confusion, disbelief. Why? Time she smiled. Not the polite, controlled smile I had grown used to, but something real. Uncertain but genuine. We take it one step at a time, she said. Months passed and something shifted between us. Slowly, carefully. We built something that wasn't defined by loss or necessity, but by choice. We learned each other's silences, each other's fears, the small unspoken ways we both carried the past. And somewhere along the way, the question of a child stopped being a plan and started becoming a possibility. One night, as we sat together watching the rain trace patterns against the window, she rested her head against my shoulder. "I'm glad you said no," she said softly. "So am I replied. "Not because I don't still want a child," she added, "but because now, it wouldn't just be about that." I turned to look at her. What would it be about? She met my gaze, her eyes steady. About building something real together. In that moment, I realized something I hadn't allowed myself to believe before. Hope didn't always arrive the way you expected. Sometimes it came quietly, disguised as a neighbor standing in the fading light, holding a cup of coffee and offering something you didn't yet understand. And sometimes, if you were brave enough to let go of the past, it turned into something even greater than what you had lost.